Why does it seem like no matter how much we achieve, there's always someone doing better, someone we feel we need to measure up to? In today's world, comparison creeps into nearly every corner of our lives. Social media, career milestones, even simple conversations with friends can leave us feeling like we're falling behind. But what if this need to compare is less about others and more about a mindset that's robbing us of peace? As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This video will dive into the timeless wisdom of the Stoics, revealing why the habit of comparing ourselves to others is a waste of time, and how focusing on what we can control can set us free from this endless cycle. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll have actionable insights to break free from the trap of comparison and reclaim your inner peace. Let's consider a common scenario. Imagine scrolling through social media and seeing a friend announce a major career milestone, a big promotion, a new business venture, or some other shining achievement. At first, you might feel happy for them, but then comes the comparison. You wonder, why not me? What am I doing wrong? Before long, that initial moment of joy turns into a spiral of frustration or self-doubt. This is the trap of comparison, and it's something the Stoics understood deeply even centuries ago. The key to breaking free from this cycle lies in one of Stoicism's foundational principles taught by Epictetus: the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. According to Epictetus, there are only two things we can truly control: our actions and our thoughts. Everything else, from the opinions of others to external circumstances, is beyond our influence. And yet, comparison often hinges on these uncontrollable factors. We focus on someone else's opportunities, their good fortune, or even their talents, none of which we can change, and let that dictate how we feel about ourselves. Think about it. Envying someone's success is like being upset that the weather doesn't match your preferences. You can't stop a storm, just like you can't control another person's circumstances or achievements. Instead, the Stoics would urge you to redirect your energy. How are you showing up in your own life? Are you making the most of your abilities, your time, and your effort? These are questions that bring the focus back to what you can actually influence: your own choices. To illustrate this, let's use a simple real-world parallel. Picture two runners in a race. One spends their entire energy glancing over at the person in the next lane, obsessing over whether they're faster, stronger, or better prepared. The other keeps their eyes on the track, focusing on their own strides, pacing, and endurance. Who is more likely to perform to the best of their ability? The answer is obvious. The runner who focuses on their own race harnesses their full potential, while the other wastes precious mental and physical energy worrying about factors they cannot control. When you compare yourself to others, you're essentially running someone else's race. Their path is shaped by opportunities, challenges, and experiences that are unique to them, just as yours is unique to you. The Stoics remind us that peace of mind comes only when we stop measuring our worth by someone else's yardstick. Instead, they encourage us to cultivate a sense of gratitude and purpose by focusing on aligning our actions with our own values and aspirations. So the next time you feel that urge to compare, pause and ask yourself, is this something within my control? If it isn't, let it go. Instead, turn your attention to what you can do, how you can improve, grow, and respond to your own situation. By doing this, you begin to free yourself from the endless and exhausting cycle of comparison, replacing frustration with clarity and empowerment. And as Epictetus wisely said, no man is free who is not master of himself. Why is it that society places so much importance on external markers of success? Wealth, career titles, social status, even the number of followers on social media, these are often held up as symbols of a person's worth. We're told both directly and indirectly that achieving these things will bring us happiness, respect, and fulfillment. But if that were true, why do so many people who seem to have it all still feel empty or dissatisfied? Why does chasing these external achievements often leave us feeling like we're running on a hamster wheel, never quite reaching that sense of lasting contentment? The Stoics believed the problem lies in what we choose to value. They emphasized a clear distinction between what they called external goods, things like money, fame, and possessions, and internal values such as wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. Seneca, one of the most prominent Stoic philosophers, taught that true contentment comes not from acquiring external rewards but from striving to live a virtuous life. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In other words, the relentless pursuit of external validation often leads to dissatisfaction because it's rooted in a craving that can never truly be satisfied. Let's think about this in practical terms. Imagine two individuals. One devotes their life to climbing the corporate ladder, securing promotions, and gaining recognition from colleagues. From the outside, it might seem like they've made it, but internally, they're consumed by fear of losing their status, worry about what others think of them, and anxiety over whether they'll ever achieve enough to feel truly worthy. Now contrast this with someone who focuses on living according to their values. They prioritize things like honesty, compassion, and self-improvement. They might not have the most impressive resume, but they wake up each day with a sense of purpose and go to bed with a clear conscience. Which of these two people sounds more fulfilled? The Stoics would argue that the second person has discovered the path to true contentment because they've built their self-worth on a foundation that no external force can shake. Fame can fade, wealth can disappear, and opinions of others can change in an instant. But your character, how you choose to live, and the values you uphold belongs entirely to you. It's within your control, and because of that, it's far more enduring than any external marker of success. Now here's something worth reflecting on. What values are you basing your self-worth upon? Are they things outside of your control, like status or accumulation of material goods? Or are they rooted in qualities that reflect your inner self, such as resilience, kindness, and integrity? If you find that external achievements have taken center stage, it's worth questioning whether they're truly bringing you the sense of fulfillment you're seeking. Seneca's wisdom reminds us to realign our priorities. Instead of chasing after what others deem valuable, focus on cultivating virtues that resonate with your core. Ask yourself, am I living a life I can be proud of, regardless of what others might think? This shift in perspective is liberating because it frees you from the pressure to meet society's often arbitrary standards and anchors your sense of self-worth in something far more stable, your own character. By prioritizing internal values over external achievements, you not only find a deeper sense of peace but also gain the courage to navigate life on your own terms. As the Stoics teach, the ultimate measure of success isn't how much you have, but how true you are to the virtues that define who you want to be. Is success something we truly earn solely through hard work and determination, or is it partly influenced by factors outside our control, things like timing, opportunity, or sheer luck? This question cuts to the heart of the Stoic perspective on what they called fortune. The Stoics believed that while our efforts and decisions matter deeply, the outcomes we experience are often shaped by forces beyond our control. And yet, when we compare ourselves to others, we rarely consider just how much of their success, or even their struggles, might be shaped by these unseen external factors. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, once wrote, The whole future lies in uncertainty, live immediately. In those simple words, he reminds us of the unpredictable and uncontrollable nature of life. What we often call luck or fortune plays a significant role in shaping opportunities, circumstances, and challenges. Someone might be born into privilege with access to resources and support that make their path smoother. Another might face obstacles or benefits that we can't see from the outside. Health, connections, cultural dynamics, or even a chance encounter that shifts the course of their life entirely. These factors are beyond anyone's control, yet they influence outcomes in ways we often overlook when comparing ourselves to others. Now, this doesn't mean the Stoics dismissed effort or personal responsibility. Quite the opposite, they emphasized the importance of taking responsibility for your actions and striving to live a virtuous life. But they also taught that outcomes, whether success or failure, are never entirely within our grasp. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, advised, "You have to accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny for what could be more aptly fit your needs." This is not a call to passivity, but a reminder to approach life with humility and perspective. When we compare ourselves to others, we often make the mistake of assuming we're all playing on a level field, that someone else's accomplishments reflect their superior worth, effort, or talent. But the Stoics would argue that this ignores the role of fortune. It's like watching two ships at sea without considering the winds and currents pushing them forward or holding them back. One may sail smoothly because the winds are in its favor, while the other struggles against harsh tides. Yet we often judge only the destination, not the forces at play along the journey. Instead of engaging in self-defeating comparisons, the Stoics would encourage us to accept the hand we've been dealt. Focus not on how fortune has favored or challenged someone else, but on how you are responding to the circumstances you face. Are you meeting the unpredictable nature of life with resilience and courage? Are you doing your best with what you have rather than envying what someone else appears to possess? A helpful exercise is to reflect on the unseen forces that have shaped your own life. Think of times when luck or privilege worked in your favor. Maybe it was the support of a mentor, the right opportunity showing up at the right time, or being born into circumstances that gave you a head start. Acknowledging these moments can build gratitude and remind you to approach others' successes or failures with compassion rather than judgment. We're all navigating life with different winds at our backs or against us. Ultimately, the Stoic view of fortune liberates us from the false premise that we must measure up to others to find meaning or worth. By accepting that certain forces are beyond our control, we can let go of resentment, envy, and regret. What matters, according to the Stoics, is how we navigate the present moment, regardless of what fortune has given or taken away. As Seneca reminds us, a good character is the only guarantee of everlasting, carefree happiness. So, instead of fixating on comparisons, focus on cultivating the strength to meet life as it comes on your own terms. Envy has a way of consuming us, doesn't it? It sneaks in when we see someone else thriving in a way we wish we were, whether it's their career, relationships, or achievements. It burns quietly in the background, taking over our thoughts, making us feel inadequate, and leaving us stuck in a loop of frustration. Yet, for all that intensity, what does envy actually accomplish? Does it move us forward? Does it make us happier? Does it improve us in any meaningful way? The truth is, envy achieves absolutely nothing except to rob us of mental clarity and peace. The Stoics were keenly aware of envy's destructive nature. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, saw envy as a waste of precious energy. He wrote, "Do not be whirled about, but let your mind be steady and look at things as they truly are." What he's pointing to is the tendency of envy to distort reality. When we're caught up in envy, we don't see the full picture of someone else's life. We only see the highlight reel, the parts we wish we had, and we ignore the struggles, sacrifices, and complexities that accompany their success. Worse, envy keeps us focused on what others have instead of what we could be working toward ourselves. It's like staring at someone else's garden while neglecting to water your own. Consider a relatable example. Imagine a writer who feels envious of a fellow author's best-selling book. They might spend hours scrolling through reviews or interviews, ruminating over why their own work isn't receiving the same attention. But in all those hours, what have they accomplished? Have they written a single word? Have they improved their craft or worked toward their goals? The time and energy spent envying another's success could have been invested in creating something of their own. Marcus Aurelius would remind us that this is the heart of the problem with envy. It directs our focus outward on what others are doing instead of inward, on what we can control our own choices, actions, and growth. The Stoics offer a powerful alternative to envy. Redirect that energy towards self-improvement. Instead of letting envy paralyze us, we can use it as a signal, a reminder of what we value or aspire to, and turn it into motivation. Let's revisit the writer. Suppose instead of stewing in envy, they decide to ask themselves, what can I learn from this person's success? Maybe the best-selling author has a unique writing style, a dedicated work ethic, or an ability to connect with their audience. By analyzing and learning from their achievements, the envious writer can take actionable steps to improve their own craft. In this way, envy transforms from a destructive emotion into a tool for growth. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, would recommend focusing entirely on what is within your control. He taught that emotions like envy arise when we concern ourselves with external things, things that belong to others, things we cannot influence. Instead, Epictetus would urge us to ask, what is my responsibility here? What can I do better? By shifting the focus away from what someone else has to what we can accomplish, we take back our power. We stop letting envy drain our energy and start using that energy to improve ourselves. Here's a practical way to apply this. When you feel envy creeping in, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what about this person's success is making me feel this way? Is it their skill, their dedication, their ability to overcome obstacles? Then, think about how you can cultivate those same qualities in your own life. If you admire someone's career success, focus on building your own skills or networking more effectively. If you envy someone's physical fitness, channel that energy into creating a workout plan and sticking to it. The idea is to turn the emotion into a spark that fuels your own self-improvement rather than letting it fester and hold you back. Envy is, at its core, a distraction. It pulls us away from our true potential by keeping us fixated on someone else's life instead of our own. The Stoics remind us that our time, energy, and mental focus are limited resources, and we should guard them carefully. The next time envy strikes, redirect that energy. Build your skills, align your actions with your values, and focus on your own journey. As Marcus Aurelius would say, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. Let's take a moment to think about what it truly means to live a fulfilling life. Is it about measuring yourself against the successes of others, constantly trying to outdo them? Or is it about finding your unique path and following it with integrity and purpose? The Stoics had a clear answer. They believed in the principle of living according to nature, which means understanding and embracing your own nature, your strengths, your values, and your role in the world rather than trying to fit into someone else's mold. When we compare ourselves to others, we stray from this path. Comparison pulls us away from who we are and toward who we think we should be based on someone else's life. As Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." If we spend our time chasing someone else's goals, trying to live their version of success, we lose sight of what truly matters to us. The result: frustration, dissatisfaction, and a constant feeling of being out of alignment. The beauty of the Stoic principle of living in harmony with nature is that it invites us to stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward. Epictetus explained it simply: first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The idea here is to define your own purpose, what is meaningful to you, what fits your talents and values, and then commit to living in alignment with that vision. When you stop comparing your journey to someone else's, you free yourself to focus entirely on becoming the best version of yourself. To illustrate this, think of a forest full of different trees. There's an oak, sturdy and strong, standing tall. Nearby, there's a willow, graceful and flexible, swaying with the breeze. Further along, you find a small flowering cherry tree, delicate and vibrant with blossoms. Each tree has its own unique nature and thrives when it embraces that nature. The oak doesn't waste energy envying the cherry tree's flowers, nor does the willow try to grow as tall as the oak. They each grow in accordance with their own design. But imagine if they didn't. If the willow tried to stiffen itself to copy the oak's strength, or the cherry tree wasted its energy stretching upward to compete in height, they'd weaken themselves, fighting against what they were meant to be. As humans, we often fall into this trap. Instead of fully embracing our unique strengths and purpose, we get caught up in what we lack compared to others. But the Stoics remind us that fulfillment comes from focusing on what's within our own nature. So how do you begin living this way? Start by asking yourself, what are my strengths? What are my values? What do I find meaningful? Not because the world says it's valuable, but because it resonates with who I am as a person. For example, you might be someone who finds joy and purpose in creative expression. If that's your nature, then comparing yourself to someone who excels in analytical fields, like finance or engineering, will only lead to frustration. Their path isn't yours. Instead, you could focus on cultivating your creativity, honing your craft, and dedicating yourself to what aligns with your unique talents. This isn't about ignoring growth or avoiding challenges. It's about choosing to grow in the direction that's authentic to you. One practical application of this Stoic principle is to regularly reflect on what's truly within your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look." By identifying your natural abilities and focusing on nurturing them, you'll feel more aligned with your purpose and less distracted by what others are doing. Living according to nature means recognizing that your life is meant to be your own, and that's a freeing thought. You're not in competition with anyone else. You don't need to measure up to their goals or achievements. All you need to do is honor the potential within you and live in harmony with it. As the Stoics show us, fulfillment isn't about being better than someone else. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Picture this: you're lying on the couch after a long day, scrolling through your social media feed. One post shows a friend on an exotic vacation, lounging on a pristine beach. The next is someone celebrating a promotion, dressed confidently in a perfect suit with a caption about hard work paying off. Then there's a fitness influencer showing off their sculpted physique and sharing their latest workout routine. Before you know it, that casual scroll has turned into a spiral of self-doubt. You start to compare their highlight reels to your reality, your job, your body, your relationships, and feel like you're not measuring up. Sound familiar? This is the illusion of social media, and it's one of the greatest challenges to our well-being in the modern world. Social media isn't evil, but it thrives on a curated, polished version of reality. People share their best moments, their achievements, and their happiest smiles, often leaving out struggles, failures, and the mundane parts of life. And while you might no asterisk this intellectually, emotionally it's easy to forget. We compare our unfiltered lives filled with ups and downs, doubts and imperfections, to someone else's carefully constructed highlight reel. The Stoics, though they lived in a time long before Instagram or TikTok, would have much to say about this phenomenon. At its core, the constant comparison fueled by social media is deeply at odds with Stoic philosophy. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and values, but scrolling through social media often pulls us into the opposite direction, fixating on things we can't control, someone else's success, their appearance, or their perceived happiness. Marcus Aurelius would likely remind us, as he did in his writings, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." In other words, instead of letting other people's posts dictate how you feel about your own life, focus inward. Ask yourself, are these comparisons helping me live according to my own principles and values? Or are they a distraction? The Stoics also caution against being misled by appearances. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about this when you're scrolling through social media. The perfect photo you see of someone's life may not reflect reality at all. It's a snapshot, edited, filtered, and framed to tell the story they want to project. You're not seeing the challenges they face, their insecurities, or their unshared struggles. By letting these images affect your self-worth or happiness, you suffer unnecessarily, constructing a narrative in your mind that might not even be true. So, how can we approach social media in a way that aligns with Stoic wisdom and protects our peace of mind? One practical step is mindful media consumption. Instead of aimlessly scrolling, set intentional boundaries around your time online. Use social media as a tool to connect, learn, or be inspired, but not as a measuring stick for your own life. If certain accounts trigger feelings of inadequacy, consider unfollowing or muting them. The Stoic principle of moderation reminds us to use things in balance, ensuring they serve us rather than control us. Another powerful practice is gratitude, a cornerstone of Stoic living. When you find yourself envying someone else's life online, pause and ground yourself in what you're grateful for in your own life. Reflect on the people, opportunities, or experiences that bring you joy and fulfillment. As Epictetus taught, he who is not grateful for what he has will not be happy with what he wishes to have. By shifting your focus to what you have rather than what you feel you lack, you can break free from the comparison trap. Finally, remember that your value isn't determined by likes, followers, or external achievements, but by how you live in accordance with your own principles. Instead of striving to match someone else's carefully curated life, reflect on how to build a life that feels meaningful to you. The next time you catch yourself scrolling and comparing, apply these Stoic practices. Step back, question whether this serves your peace of mind, and redirect your energy toward gratitude and purpose. Social media may be modern, but the wisdom of the Stoics remains timeless. It's not the platform itself that defines your experience, it's how you choose to engage with it. How often do we actually stop to appreciate what we have? Truly appreciate it, not in passing, not as a fleeting thought, but with genuine awareness and gratitude. In a world that constantly tells us to want more, achieve more, and be more, it's easy to overlook the blessings already in front of us. Instead, we often find ourselves caught in the endless trap of comparison, focusing on what others have that we don't, and convincing ourselves that happiness lies somewhere out there. But what if the key to contentment isn't in chasing what's missing, but in appreciating what's already here? The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." Think about that for a moment. All the things you have in your life, the people you care about, your health, the opportunities you've been given, the simple pleasures of daily life, how much would you long for them if they were taken away? The Stoics remind us that gratitude is the antidote to comparison because it shifts our focus from lack to abundance, from envy to appreciation. By practicing gratitude, we train our minds to find value in the present moment. Instead of comparing our lives to others, we begin to see the unique beauty of our own path. Consider this: where comparison says, "I don't have what they have," gratitude says, "I have something that matters deeply to me." Where comparison breeds discontent and jealousy, gratitude fosters peace and fulfillment. And the best part, gratitude is something we can cultivate. It's not dependent on outside circumstances, but entirely within our control. One way to start shifting your perspective is through a simple gratitude practice. The Stoics were firm believers in reflecting on life daily, and you can do this too by taking a few moments each day to focus on what you're grateful for. For example, you could keep a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things, big or small, that you're thankful for. It could be as simple as the warmth of your morning coffee, a kind word from a friend, or the fact that you made it through a challenging task. The act of writing them down helps to anchor these blessings in your mind, making them harder to overlook. Another Stoic-inspired practice is to reflect on how life would feel without the things you value most. This isn't meant to bring sadness, but to remind you of their significance. When Marcus Aurelius advised imagining life without your blessings, he wasn't being pessimistic. He was encouraging a mindset that helps you fully appreciate what you have while you have it. For example, imagine your life without your closest relationships. How much more would you cherish the time you spend with those people now, knowing how precious it truly is? This perspective grounds us in gratitude and helps us break free from the toxic pull of comparison. But gratitude isn't just about appreciating what's already here. It's also a powerful way to reframe challenges and setbacks. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or what you lack, gratitude allows you to see what the experience is teaching you. For instance, if you face rejection or failure, rather than comparing yourself to someone who succeeded, you can reflect on what you've learned and how it might help you grow. This mindset, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, reminds us that gratitude isn't limited to good times. It's a tool for finding strength and meaning in every experience. The beauty of gratitude is that it transforms the way we see the world. It quiets the noise of comparison and replaces it with clarity, appreciation, and peace. So, the next time you catch yourself envying someone else's life or focusing on what you lack, pause. Take a moment to reflect on the blessings already present in your life. Ask yourself, what do I have right now that I would miss deeply if it were gone? Reconnect with those things, your relationships, your health, your opportunities, and even the small, ordinary joys, and you'll find the power to let go of comparison and anchor yourself in gratitude. As Marcus Aurelius teaches, happiness isn't found in chasing what we don't have, but in fully embracing what's already ours. Have you ever found yourself feeling completely discouraged after seeing someone else excel at something you've been struggling with? Maybe you've just started learning a new skill, like playing an instrument, and then you come across someone effortlessly performing at a professional level. Or perhaps you've been working on your fitness only to see someone else hit goals you haven't even come close to yet. In moments like these, it's easy to lose motivation, to feel like no matter how hard you try, you'll never measure up. But what if this feeling of discouragement comes from focusing on the wrong goal? The Stoics would remind us that life isn't about competing with others, it's about striving to be better than you were yesterday. Personal growth, in their view, is a constant, ongoing process, not a race to reach perfection. Epictetus once said, "Progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily." This simple yet powerful idea shifts the focus away from perfection and towards steady improvement. It's not about trying to become the best at something instantly. It's about consistently showing up and making small steps forward over time. Let's think of it in terms of running a race. Imagine standing on a track with runners of all skill levels. Some sprint ahead effortlessly while others lag behind. It's tempting to glance at the fastest runners and feel defeated. But here's the thing, their race has nothing to do with yours. Maybe they've been training for years while you've just begun your journey. If you spend all your time trying to match their pace, you'll exhaust yourself and miss the opportunity to focus on your own strides. Instead, the Stoics would encourage you to tune out the competition and concentrate on one thing: your progress. Are you moving forward? Are you running with greater strength and focus than you did yesterday? That's what matters. The concept of progress over perfection is especially freeing because it allows room for human error. Stoicism acknowledges that none of us are flawless. We're all bound to make mistakes, face setbacks, and have moments of doubt. But the important question isn't whether you've fallen, it's whether you're willing to get back up and keep going. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully when he wrote, "Forward as occasion offers. Never look around to see whether anyone is watching. Be satisfied with success in even the smallest matter, and think that even such a result is no trifle." This reminds us to celebrate the small wins, the daily improvements, instead of being fixated on some idealized endpoint. Here's a practical way to adopt this mindset. Start viewing your personal growth as a lifelong project. Instead of asking, "Am I as good as they are?" try asking, "Am I better than I was last week, last month, last year?" Perhaps you've been working on becoming more patient. You may not be a Stoic sage who remains unshaken by life's irritations, but maybe today you paused before reacting to a stressful situation. That's progress, and it deserves recognition. Or maybe you've been developing a new skill, and while you're miles away from mastery, you've taken the time to practice and improve, even slightly. That too is worth celebrating. To put this into perspective, consider the growth of a tree. A sapling doesn't become a towering oak overnight. It grows gradually, season by season, enduring storms, shedding old leaves, and slowly expanding its roots. But with consistent growth, it flourishes. Your personal development is no different. Each small improvement, each lesson learned from a setback, strengthens your foundation and propels you forward. The Stoics didn't expect perfection, and neither should you. Instead, focus on running your own race. Show up each day, put in the effort, and embrace the process of becoming better than you were yesterday. As Epictetus reminds us, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I will answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Trust your process, honor your progress, and remember, your journey is uniquely yours. What does success mean to you? Take a moment to really think about it. Is it tied to financial wealth, career milestones, or recognition from others? Or is it something deeper, something less dependent on external circumstances? The truth is, our modern definitions of success are often shaped by societal pressures and fleeting rewards, things we chase but that rarely provide lasting fulfillment. The Stoics, however, offer a radically different perspective. For them, success wasn't about external achievements. It was about how you lived your life, the kind of person you chose to be. They believed that the ultimate goal was virtue, living in alignment with qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These, according to the Stoics, are the only true measures of a life well lived. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, put it simply, "Virtue is nothing else than right reason." What he meant by this is that living virtuously means making decisions based on rational thought, moral principles, and a commitment to doing what is right, even when it's difficult, even when no one is watching. Virtue is about cultivating your character, focusing on who you are at your core rather than what you achieve or acquire in the external world. For the Stoics, this was the only kind of success that truly mattered, because it was the only thing entirely within your control. Wealth, status, and recognition can come and go, but your commitment to living virtuously is something that no one can take from you. Take wisdom, for example, one of the 4 cardinal virtues of Stoicism. Wisdom is about understanding what is truly important in life and making thoughtful choices guided by that understanding. This means discerning between what is within your control and what isn't, an idea central to Stoic thought. It's the recognition that worrying about external outcomes or trying to live up to someone else's standards is a waste of your energy. Instead, a wise person turns their focus inward, asking, "What is the right thing to do in this moment? How can I act in a way that aligns with my values?" Then there's courage, the ability to face challenges, fears, and even failures with bravery and determination. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means acting in spite of it. In the context of Stoic virtue, courage is about staying true to your principles even when it's hard. It's standing firm in your decisions when others might pressure you to compromise your integrity. Courage, in the Stoic sense, isn't about grand heroic acts. It's about the quiet strength to endure what life throws at you with grace and resolve. Justice, another key virtue, is about doing what's fair and right, not just for yourself, but for others. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of his duty to serve the greater good, to act in a way that benefits society rather than just advancing his personal interests. Justice means considering the impact of your actions on others and striving to contribute positively to the world around you. And finally, temperance or self-discipline is the ability to practice moderation and control your desires. In a world that constantly tempts us with instant gratification, whether it's overindulgence in food, distractions from technology, or the endless pursuit of material possessions, temperance helps us regain control. It reminds us to prioritize what truly matters over what brings fleeting pleasure. What's powerful about the Stoic focus on virtue is that it shifts the definition of success from something external to something internal. It's no longer about how much you can achieve, earn, or impress others, but about how consistently you can live according to values that reflect the best version of yourself. This mindset liberates you from the endless comparison game because no one else's success or failure has any bearing on your ability to act virtuously. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." So, if you've grown tired of chasing society's version of success, the Stoics invite you to redefine it for yourself. What would your life look like if you measured success by the strength of your character, the wisdom of your decisions, the courage of your actions, and the fairness of your treatment of others? What if, instead of competing with others, you focused entirely on living in a way that you could be proud of? By aligning your life with these virtues, you'll find a sense of fulfillment that isn't dependent on anything outside of you, a sense of success that no circumstance can ever take away. How often do you find yourself defining your worth based on what others think of you, or shaping your decisions around how you'll be perceived? It's such a common trap, one that's easy to fall into, especially in a world where external validation seems to carry so much weight. But here's the thing, every time we tie our self-worth to the opinions of others, or compare ourselves to their lives and achievements, we hand over a piece of our peace of mind. The Stoics had a powerful solution to this, and it starts with practicing detachment. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that our peace depends on one simple yet profound realization: there are things within our control and things outside of it. According to Epictetus, external opinions, what others think of us, how they judge us, or even the comparisons we make, belong firmly in the category of things we cannot control. He urged us to focus only on what truly lies within our power, our own thoughts, actions, and growth. He wrote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." What he's getting at here is the importance of detaching from the need for approval or validation. Let go of how others perceive you and instead concentrate on the only thing that truly matters, your own inner progress. But how do we actually apply this idea in the messiness of daily life? When societal pressures, comparisons, and judgments feel overwhelming, how can we ground ourselves in what we can control? The answer lies in intentional practices that help us retrain our focus. Here are a few practical exercises inspired by Stoic wisdom to help you detach from comparison. First, consider starting a journaling practice rooted in self-reflection. At the end of each day, take a moment to ask yourself questions like, what did I do today that aligned with my values? How did I grow, even in a small way? What challenges did I face and how did I respond to them? By journaling about your own goals and progress, you create a habit of self-accountability, shifting your focus away from external judgments to internal growth. Over time, this practice allows you to see your journey clearly, not through the lens of others' opinions, but through your own evolving sense of purpose. Another exercise is to practice mindfulness when you notice yourself comparing. Imagine scrolling through social media or hearing about a friend's accomplishment and feeling that sting of self-doubt creep in. Instead of letting those emotions take over, pause and take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this comparison helpful? Does it serve me in any way? Most of the time, you'll find the answer is no. Then redirect your energy towards something constructive, whether it's celebrating the other person's success or returning your attention to your own path. Detachment also involves consciously reminding yourself of what is truly in your control. When you feel tempted to compare your life, abilities, or achievements to someone else's, use this Stoic exercise. Mentally separate what belongs to you, your choices, actions, and efforts, from what belongs to others. For example, if someone achieves something you admire, recognize that their success represents their journey, shaped by factors both within and beyond their control. Likewise, your journey is entirely your own, influenced by your unique circumstances and decisions. By practicing this mental separation, you begin to free yourself from the weight of comparison. Finally, make a commitment to focus on the process rather than the outcome. Epictetus reminds us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Set goals that align with your values and measure your success by the effort and intention you bring to each day, not by how your progress compares to others. When you focus on doing your best with what you have, external achievements and judgments lose their grip on your sense of self-worth. Detachment from comparison is not about indifference or apathy. It's about reclaiming your energy and attention so you can invest them in what truly matters, your growth, your integrity, and your own unique path. By practicing these exercises, journaling, mindfulness, mental separation, and focusing on the process, you can begin to break free from the need for external validation and anchor yourself in the power of your inner progress. As the Stoics remind us, peace comes not from controlling the world around us, but from mastering how we respond to it. So, let's take a step back and reflect on everything we've explored. Comparison, whether it's with friends, colleagues, or strangers on social media, is a game that offers no winners. It takes our focus away from what we can control and places it squarely on things that lie outside of our power. The Stoics understood this centuries ago, and their timeless wisdom reminds us that the pursuit of someone else's path will always lead to frustration because it disconnects us from our own. Instead of looking outward, they invite us to look inward, to focus on personal growth, to practice gratitude for what we have, and to align our lives with values that truly matter. We've seen how comparison feeds off of external measures, status, wealth, recognition, things that are as fleeting as they are uncontrollable. Yet, by shifting your focus to personal growth, you can start to measure success in a way that's deeply fulfilling. Ask yourself, am I living in alignment with my values? Am I showing up as the best version of myself? These are the questions that matter because they bring the focus back to what's within your control, your actions, your character, and your effort. Gratitude is another essential piece of the puzzle, a direct antidote to the bitterness and dissatisfaction that come from comparison. By appreciating the blessings already present in your life, you can ground yourself in abundance rather than chasing what you think you lack. When you wake up each day with a mindset of gratitude, you reclaim your peace. As the Stoics teach us, happiness isn't found in acquiring more, but in wanting less and in recognizing the richness of the present moment. And above all, the Stoics remind us to live with virtue. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, these are the qualities that define true success because they reflect the kind of person you choose to be, not the external outcomes you achieve. Living virtuously means striving to do what's right, even when it's hard, and dedicating yourself to growth, no matter how long the journey may take. It's about running your own race, not someone else's, and finding fulfillment in the strides you make day after day. Let this be your takeaway: comparison is a distraction. It clouds your judgment, drains your energy, and distances you from your true purpose. But by embracing the Stoic principles of personal growth, gratitude, and virtue, you can liberate yourself from this endless cycle and begin living a life that's authentically your own. The next time you catch yourself falling into the trap of comparison, pause and ask, am I focusing on what's in my control? Am I working toward becoming the best version of myself? As we close, I want to leave you with this powerful reminder from Marcus Aurelius. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Let that sink in. Imagine how much more peace you'd feel if you redirected that energy away from seeking approval or comparing yourself, and back toward nurturing your own growth and values. So here's a challenge for you. Take one area of your life, your career, your relationships, your personal goals, and ask, how can I apply these Stoic principles here? Maybe it's by letting go of a need to keep up with others. Maybe it's by committing to show gratitude for the progress you've made, or by practicing a virtue like courage or self-discipline. Whatever it is, start small, but start today. Comparison is the thief of joy, but the Stoics give us the tools to reclaim it. Focus on what you can control. Be grateful for what you have and live with virtue. That's where true peace begins. Thank you for watching, and here's to your growth, your strength, and your journey forward.